So check this out. The Pentagon threatens to cut off Anthropic in AI safeguard dispute. And this AI world is moving so fast right now. This week, we're getting a ton of news on this stuff. And basically, you've got various players in the realm. I would not be shocked if Elon Musk is behind this stuff. Why? Remember, Anthropic is crushing Elon Musk right now. And so what would help Elon if the government cut off all relationships with Anthropic? Then Elon's like, hey, I got some AI. I got some AI. I need a bailout. I need those government contracts. And so what's going on at the moment is there's a big fight on like what kind of safeguards are in place. What can you use the AI for or not for? So from Anthropic's point of view, right, Anthropic insists that two areas remain off limits. So what are those two? The mass surveillance of Americans, so don't use our software for that, and fully autonomous weapons, right? So don't build Terminators, basically. And Elon Musk is like, hey, well, you know, I don't need any guardrails or safeguards. I mean, look at my chatbot. Look at the undressing of kids and non-consensual stuff. Hey, you know, government contracts. Wow, right? And this is what they're talking about here. Let me read this. Why it matters. The Pentagon is pushing 4 leading AI labs to let the military use their tools for, quote, all lawful purposes, okay? Even in the most sensitive areas of weapons development, intelligence collecting, and battlefield operations. Anthropic has not agreed to those terms, and the Pentagon is getting fed up with months of difficult negotiations. So this is what they're talking about, and I promise you Elon Musk is involved in this stuff. I wouldn't be shocked. And why? Well, Elon Musk spends all his time attacking Anthropic. I mean, you can see it in the public here. Anthropic, we raised $30 billion in funding, $380 billion post-money valuation. Elon then goes on and on. Your AI hates whites, Asians, especially Chinese, heterosexuals, and men. That's from Musk. Musk also, right? Wall Street Journal does basically as a fluff piece on Anthropic and their safety over there. And it was one of their people, Amanda Askell. Elon then says, those without children lack stake in the future, right? So we're making personal attacks here. And then you got someone pointing it out. This is from Stefan. Stefan says, any sane person would rather entrust Amanda with the future than Musk. Yes, I would agree. Any sane person would think that. Musk then says, you're a pathetic wanker. That's coming from Musk. Sophia says, why would you say that about people without kids though, right? Because remember, Musk said, those without children lack a stake in the future. Musk says, having kids mean you will do anything to ensure that they live and are happy for you to love them more than your own life 1,000 times over. And there is no chance that you will fall in love with an AI instead. Remember these words? What? And this is Elon Musk, who always talks about you need your AI girlfriend and your robot buddies and stuff. Someone responds, that's a touching sentiment about parenthood. I think it's just a fluffer. Then Musk says, don't believe what you read in the media. I spent every moment I could with them. And everyone who knows me knows this. For they see me with my kids whenever they see me. It's like, what? And it's kind of weird because, you know, I think he's got at least 14 kids. He knows how many he's totally got. And he's already disowned one of his kids, Vivian. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't spend time with all 14. You can ask Musk on that. He pretends that, oh yeah, I love my kids all the time. But yet you're always like nonstop tweeting to people fighting over whatever nonsense. Listen to this. This is from the CEO of Anthropic. Listen what he has to say about bankruptcy.
2027, how much compute do I get? Well, I could assume that the revenue will continue growing 10x a year. So it'll be 100 billion at the end of 2026 and 1 trillion at the end of 2027. And so I could buy $1 trillion. Actually, it would be like $5 trillion of compute because it would be $1 trillion a year for 5 years, right?
And what they're talking about is, okay, given the rate that AI is growing and how much revenue companies are making, then they're planning out how much data centers to buy, right? And we've talked data centers quite a bit, okay?
To buy $1 trillion of compute that starts at the end of 2027. And if my revenue is not $1 trillion, if it's even 800 billion, there's no force on earth. There's no hedge on earth that could stop me from going bankrupt if I buy that much compute. And so even though a part of my brain wonders if it's going to keep growing 10x, I can't buy $1 trillion a year of compute in 2027. If I'm just off by a year in that rate of growth, or if the growth rate is 5x a year instead of 10x a year, then then you go bankrupt.
And I mention this to you guys because if you ever listen to Elon Musk talk, right? And does Elon Musk believe his lies or not? Who knows? But Elon's be like, oh my God, yeah, we're going to 10x, 1,000x, 1,000,000x. Oh, we're going to have 30,000 starships a year in the space and data centers. Oh, it's just like, so if you're in that kind of world, think about all the money you're committing or borrowing or raising or trying to get government contracts to build out your fantasy dreams of Earth, Earth launching satellites, right? I think he wants to do like one every hour. It's like ridiculous. Shoom, shoom, shoom is what Elon says. And building your space catapults on the moon to launch all your satellites, whatever. But Dario, who's the CEO of Anthropic, is like, basically these kind of people can go bankrupt. Elon Musk gets really upset on this stuff. And then he's trying to essentially keep up with the competitors that are ahead of him, be it OpenAI or Anthropic.
We are done running a peacetime science fair while our potential adversaries are running a wartime arms race. The President of the United States and I have the backs of our warfighters. We also have the backs of innovators who share that very same urgency. We will not back down. We will forge the new arsenal of freedom with our partners in industry, in the private sector. No one can out-innovate an American entrepreneur who has been liberated from the constraints of stifling bureaucracy. That old era ends today. If not us, if not America, if not the West, then who? And if not now, it will be too late to maintain that advantage. America first in every domain.
And so just let that sink in, okay? You have Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, is doing a promo video for Elon Musk. Basically like, guys, we gotta build this arsenal of freedom with Musk. This is the quote then that he posts. No one on earth can out-innovate an American entrepreneur, once freed from the dead weight of stifling bureaucracy. Okay, so if you don't know, basically the idea is you can get contracts to Musk even faster. Forget about any kind of safety checks. Forget about any kind of auditors. Just remove as many government employees out of the way. Just trust Musk, right? We'll forge a new arsenal of freedom. Thank you, Elon Musk. Isn't this the most ridiculous crap? And I know it actually isn't that funny, because then you're talking about, okay, what else could we do with that money? We could be building schools. We could be giving it to legitimate people. We could give it to universities to just do pure science and research that are like, checked by qualified and competent people. But no, we're going to give it to like the ultimate grifter and, fake IQ dude of all time, Elon Musk. It's ridiculous. And then you look at what else is going on. And I'm just showing you guys this out because this AI world, it is deeply connected in politics, business, the markets. It's what's driving everything right now. This is a new interview, I guess they did on Wired. It says, in an interview with Wired, Greg Brockman tells me his donations to Trump and an AI super PAC are in service of OpenAI's mission to distribute AGI to humanity. Supporting the team is bigger than the people that I happen to be employed with. It's really team humanity. That's what Brockman says. So I think this is like the co-founder of OpenAI. But basically, they're giving a bunch of money to the Trump people, right? Brockman acknowledged that supporting AI has become somewhat unpopular. Quote, there's a small number of politicians who I think, despite realizing it's not the most popular thing, are really putting themselves out there to say, actually, we think AI is important for the country. And I doesn't say Trump by name, but basically Trump goes out and if you've been watching this stuff, him and Melania, they'll tell you how we're awesome. We can't let China beat us. We got to do AI as fast as we can. They want AI in the schools. They want to replace teachers. Let's have all the kids do AI. They're going to have AI competitions they've been running. And then, again, this is about big money, guys, the real money, like these huge government contracts. And then there was this crazy crap going on at Palantir, right? In a video shared with Palantir employees, Alex Karp did not explain how ICE is utilizing the company's products. Instead, workers were told they can sign NDAs if they want detailed information. So basically they had like this 40-minute thing that CART put out there. And there's a lot of employees at, this would be Palantir, rightfully so, are asking a lot of questions like, hey, I see this like crap that ICE is doing on TV. Is the stuff I'm working on at the company, is this part of that, right? That's the kind of stuff that they're asking. And this is what they came from Alex Karp, the CEO. He says, on the back of recent events, internal conversations, and calls from many of you, right? Companies, employees are concerned about this. Better understand how executive leadership is wrestling with the questions central to Palantir's place in the world today. Okay. To be clear, our objective in this exchange was not to cover each detail of every controversy that graces the live list of the company. Well, what are you doing then? Slack channels, right? So I guess people are talking about Slack. Nor to fully assuage every concern that each of you may carry. Most of all, Dr. Karp has made a clear commitment to reinvigorate his direct engagement with hobbits. I guess that's what they refer to employees at, I'm guessing. And this discussion endeavors to model the form of rigorous dialogue that should be at the center of Palantir's prize culture. Yeah, and it says they refer to employees as hobbits. This was actually a question that someone had here. Said, can Palantir, this is from an employee, can Palantir put any pressure on ICE at all? Wrote one worker in a Slack channel dedicated to world news coverage. I've read stories of folks rounded up who were seeking asylum with no order to leave the country, no criminal record, and consistently check in with authorities. Literally no reason to be rounded up. Surely we aren't helping do that. That was a question, right? And then the Palantir people are like, well, if you want more details, you got to sign an NDA. How do you read this crap? Now, what's interesting about this, there already is some pushback on some of these companies. It's from CNBC, one of the people over there. Quit GPT is the first true consumer-driven social political movement against AI. It is the first sign of crack developing in the AI race, right? And there's a ChatGPT is Trump's biggest donor. This kind of stuff is very interesting. It's the first that I've seen, and I guess 700,000 supposedly are boycotting ChatGPT. You never know with this kind of stuff, to be frank. And then you have like Musk and all his bot accounts will tell you how awesome he is. This is someone writing, Tesla will be the first large autonomous fleet. Second, third, fourth, and fifth will all be Chinese. And then Elon says, Tesla will have the largest fleet of autonomous vehicles as far into the future as I can imagine. Wow. Jesse writes, it'll be beautiful. Okay. Here's the thing. This is the other kind of stuff that Elon Musk can also get involved with, right? Is blocking BYD from coming to the USA. Because BYD is a legit company. I mean, they're putting out a lot of vehicles these days. US concludes Alibaba and BYD have links to the Chinese military. So if the government decides that, to say, okay, BYD is connected to the Chinese military, then no BYDs for you Americans. I'll tell you this, it was pretty interesting. This is BYD here in Korea. This is their website. They have 4 cars now. I think when because I've seen one of them. We went to the dealership. I saw, I think it was the Atto 3 we looked at. We drove it. I saw the Seal. I didn't drive it though. And then the new one, the Dolphin. And just to give you just perspective, this is here in our market. And these things are all around the world. The Dolphin's actually pretty cheap. I mean, to be frank, it's like 24. Just to give you a general idea. This is a Korean won, but just simplest to talk about. It's like 24. I guess the more, fully loaded one is 29. And these are all electric. So the Seal's coming in around what, 39, 46 for the top one. The Otto, this is more like an SUV kind of one, about 31, 33. For this kind of vehicle, it's pretty reasonable. And actually, it's funny because like my wife, Yeji, she said like one of her friends is now looking at a BYD. Like they just had a conversation. Like, oh, I'm gonna go look at the BYD. And I mean, the pricing wise, you got to take a look if you're in the market for cars. This is what cars cost in Korea. Just showing you guys. This would be an example of electric vehicles. So this would be the Hyundais. You got the Ioniq, right? So the 6 is like 48. The Ioniq 9 is 67. The Kona is 41. The Ioniq 5 is 47. Some of these are pretty expensive. I'm just showing you the prices. So that would be the Nexus, I think it is 76. That's more of like I think it's like a natural gas car or something like that. The Casper is 27. That's a cute little car. They're hard to get. They're actually on back order. You have to wait like 2 years to get one. And then we have like trucks here, right? And flatbeds and stuff like that. You can see the prices. These are the Kias. Kia's got a ton of models. Look at all these EVs, right? So they got the Ray, the Niro, the EV3, the EV3 GT, the EV4, EV4 GT, right? It's like a sporty edition. And they're going to range anywhere from like 27 is the low end. And then the high end is going to be like 84. And then got trucks. I think they have like 12 vehicles, something like that. I mean, you guys can hear it. It's got a whole bunch of these things. And then when you look at Tesla, they basically got 3, because if you listen to the last earnings of report, they canceled the X, and the S, right? So all Tesla has is the 3 and the Y, and then the Cybertruck, which is junk, right? I think we all know that's overpriced junk. And so then really they're down to 2 models which haven't really been updated. And so all they do they'll like change the color lights, or hey, we got new colors of the exterior or whatever, but they are so far behind their competitors. And then when you look at the price here, so like this is the Model 3, just to give you guys in a perspective here, that's coming in at like the low end, was it 41 on this thing, 42. And then I'm sure you're gonna have to, the higher end is like 59, so 60. You're like double the cost of a B. And this is the Model 3. I mean, if you look at the Y, what do these things cost here? It's ludicrous. Like they're outdated and they're overpriced compared to what else you can get. I showed you guys this stuff before here in Korea. It's just like, yeah, the Y is coming in at 50 or 60, something like that, right? If you want to get nicer cars for electric vehicles, the GV60, you got the GV70 and the 80. These are all the choices that we got. We got a lot of choice electric vehicles here. And I'm just showing you. These are priced a lot more though. I think these are more like the 60 to 70 to 80 type of stuff range. They got the Ioniq 3 coming out, which I showed you guys before. I'm just telling you guys, like, this is why Musk is failing around the world, because there's just so much competition. And in the USA, the only way he can save himself is government contracts or block competition from coming in. And it was funny, someone actually wrote this post regarding Elon Musk and all the followers, are they all bots, right? It says, Elon Musk, the self-proclaimed bot-slaying crusader who bought Twitter to defeat the spam bots or die trying, now loads over X with 234 million followers, a number he parades like a personal conquest badge. The last time anyone was allowed to independently examine the composition of his audience, the findings were damning. In November 2022, a Spark Turo audit estimated that 70.2% of his 115 million followers were fake, inactive, or unreachable under this methodology. More than 81 million accounts amplifying him that would have never even seen his post. So point being is how many of his followers are fake. And that's actually a really interesting point. And this guy, I guess, was posting about this before, right? And that's when they did that estimate. So all of this put together, you got a dude who's like clearly an addict, and it's been reported several times. He's got a bunch of fake bot followers or whatever, but he does make the right connections in government with Hegseth and Trump. And then he's working behind the scenes and putting pressure to basically disconnect government from other companies and try to move in and slide in there and get all the contracts for himself. And this is why this is an important story to cover, because it's ludicrous. Anyone who listens to Musk, anyone of any intelligence who listens to Musk, can see as a total fraud. It's obvious to anyone who listens to it. And so basically there's a horrible situation. Like, it's the same with Trump. I mean, any reasonable person can see, like, oh my God, Trump's like whacked out. It's obvious. And so I go over this stuff because it's sad that it's not covered enough, this issue. And these are the people who want to fire everyone and replace you with a bunch of robots that don't work. That's their plan.